Thank y'all. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Jed L. Jed accidentally dropped a spring roll on the floor outside of the library early on in the workshop. It was tragic, but they still enjoyed all of the 10 to 20-minute breaks eating outside in the wind with their cohort mates. They are grateful for the opportunity to build in-person community with queer people of color amidst global pandemics. So please join me in welcoming Jed.
I'd be playing with my Legos when the first drop of blood falls from my nose. Or maybe I'd get a little caught up in picking my nose. But whenever my nose would start bleeding, I would run and go find my ama. Ama, liu bi xue le. Ama, nose is bleeding. She'd grab a cup of water and lay me down on her lap, dipping her hand in the water and lightly patting my forehead. I'd lie there feeling the cool pats of her hand on my forehead, the small droplets rolling down my face and wetting my hair, sitting there closing my eyes. I don't remember any words being exchanged. There weren't many that we shared. I'd lie there until the bleeding stopped before reluctantly getting up to go back to my Legos or to the backyard. Not that it was intentional, but I always looked forward to my nosebleeds and the one ritual that we shared. I think back to those days, my immigrant ama watching her grandchildren grow up almost unrecognizable in this dominant American culture. What did you pour into each of those pats? What stories and lessons did I miss from this chasm that separates our languages, our worldviews? Maybe one pat contained your favorite joke, another pat how your day was, and another pat was a story from your childhood. Even when you lived with us, there wasn't much room in the life of the American kid for you among Lego lightsaber battles, Pokemon journeys, the constant drone of the TV. Maybe you weren't sure how to connect with me and resorted to nagging me to put on a jacket. Among school days getting longer and homework piling up, I had no time for you other than the occasional nosebleed. I didn't fully understand when you and Akong moved out. I didn't mind. I was 10, about to enter middle school. Perhaps you thought it would slow down the nuclear reaction unfolding in the home in the midst of recession. You only moved 15 minutes away, but the suburban fever dream only heightened and my vision blurred between the sun glare out on the pool water and bubbling in scantrons and your lines on the football field and pressing submit as the digital clock turns 3 a.m. and making out in the car by the park and the death of Akong and getting in and going to college and living my life and living my life and living my life when I barely know a single thing about yours. I don't remember when you gave me this comb. This comb. But suddenly it was mine. I never needed one before, but I was growing my hair out for the first time in my life. Growing into who I was or who I could be for the first time. And so my hair grew, Once, after a trip, I couldn't find the comb, and the thought of having lost it brought me to tears. I realized how much it meant to me, how much you mean to me. And yet, as I comb my hair through tangles and dandruff and orange and purple and split ends, navigating this beautifully complex and full queer life, every stroke reminds me how I'm living my life and living my life and living my life when you barely know a single thing about mine. It's been more than 12 years since we had our first nosebleed ritual. I sit across from you in your room in awkward, uncomfortable silence and think back to those moments. Here's what I really want to ask you. Where did you meet Ako? What was it like growing up in Taiwan? Do you remember your first time coming to the US? Do you remember this comb? Do you remember the story of where you got it? Why did you give it to me? Do you have any favorite folktales or stories? What's a favorite memory from when you were young? What was your family like? What is their story? Did you have a favorite holiday? Do you have a biggest regret? When did you start your religious diet? What's an important lesson you've learned? What's the most surprising thing about today or modern times? Were there any queer people in your life? Are you queer at all? What would you do if you knew I was queer? What's it been like living without Akong? Do you miss Taiwan? What was or is your favorite food? Are you lonely? Tell me about a good friend you miss. Why don't you like my long hair? Do you love us? What do we mean to you? What would you say to me if I could understand you perfectly? Do you think about what your life has meant? Do you think about death? What is your passion? Do you know any jokes? What's your favorite? Are you proud of yourself? Do you feel accomplished? What matters the most to you? This piece is called Questions for My Ama. Thank you. Thank you all so much for listening. Before I introduce the next artist, I want to do a shameless plug. In addition to being a writer, I'm also a documentary filmmaker, first time. And my film, Greenway, is having a screening at the New Parkway in Oakland at 7 p.m. on September 6th. Also at the Oakland International Film Festival on September 17th. You can find it Richmond Greenway Film on Instagram. Thank you.